Since the Pope exists in the Cars universe, Car Jesus must have existed. What kind of car do you think he would have been? Edit: I've been made aware of some different ideas as to Jesus and Joseph's profession, so imagine he was a cart for lumber or stones, or perhaps a cart to carry important artifacts in and out of the temple. We don't know how the Cars characters are born, but we do know that older characters are older models. For example, Liz is way old. Doc Hornet is an older race car. Motor is an older truck. Is it possible that Jesus, a carpenter's son, could have been a lumber cart? While Caesar might have been a chariot. So Judas is chariot. Ducking genius. If you think puns are fun, please read James Joyce. He totally puns. El Camino. Stay with me here. Son of a carpenter. What would a carpenter drive? A truck. The son, smaller truck. Widely misunderstood and railed against by the powers that be of the time, but have a devoted following to this day. Google Translate tells me that El Camino translates to the way. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He's already told you he's an El Camino. I laughed as soon as I read El Camino, but having read the rest of your comment it turns out you're entirely right, so I guess I owe you an apology. I'm truly sorry for my early judgment, and I fully accept that Cars universe Jesus is an El Camino. Judge not, lest ye be judged. I can't believe I learned such an important and profound life lesson from a Reddit thread about the Cars universe. That old car your family owned that you're surprised lasts for more than 15 years and 200,000 miles. People also argue about the color of it. I can smell this car. A Datsun 510. Nobody knows how it still runs, but it does. Still rated well in racing. The 510 was the poor man's BMW 2002. Sticking around in IP after this long says something about the platform. C.H. Reese Taylor. Judged by Honda Pontius Pilot. And he would be known as the Lambo God? Lambo God, you drive away the sins of the world. Have Mercedes for us. Lambo God, you drive away the sins of the world. Have Mercedes for us. Lambo God, you drive away the sins of the world. Grant us Porsche. Found the Roman Cadillac. He needs a new catalytic converter. He drove a Honda Accord, everyone know this. Everyone knows Jesus and his disciples went around in one Accord. Must have been packed in there. Look man, if Jesus can feed a crowd of people on 5 fish and a couple loaves of bread, then he can fit that same crowd into his Accord. It was obviously a wagon. The Salvation Station wagon. Hold up. So, if cars are built at the car's birth, then is the Popemobile constructed at birth, no cardinal car vote, and the car's Catholic Church universe overseen by an inexperienced Pope, or is the Pope voted on by other cardinal cars and then brutally chopped up into a Popemobile? There's a Cars deleted scene where Lightning has a dream about his engine being put into a steamroller's body and Motor's engine being put into his, resulting in a bizarre body switch. Perhaps this is not so much dream logic as a real-world procedure. So is the engine of a car their brain? In this specific context, yes. There's a hole in each wheel, but they're not flat. Can also drive on water, and turn water into petrol. The US government would like to know the location of this vehicle. A beat-up old tractor with a mismatched color door and rust all over the bumper. But in all of the imagery and iconography, he's portrayed as a pristine, white sedan. Accurate. Acura. A crossover. Ba dum TSSS. I'm here all week. Jesus was a Prius. Hated by most, has a solid following. Those with money only use it to their advantage until they can get something better. Except I imagine Jesus was a good driver, and everyone knows that Prius owners are all exceptionally horrible drivers. The worst for sure. But the car itself is a good car. Great handling, excellent gas mileage. In a way, if Jesus is the car, Sunday Christians are the drivers. Jesus' lessons are excellent. But then you look at the followers. Some great, but the bad ones make the whole bunch seem terrible and then bring down the image of the faith. Model. Nazi, this certainly is the car of the King of Kings. Climbs into the driver's seat of a Renault Fuego and just straight up bursts into flames. King Arthur, you have chosen poorly. Aside, in the movie Planes one of the characters fought in World War II. Which means there was a car's Hitler. Volkswagen, obviously. Nah, Mercedes. Ordinary citizens would be Volkswagens, and they'd all be convinced they could become Mercedes if they just followed him. He'd uphold the Mercedes as the perfect car, while himself being a Steyr, an Austrian brand. Obviously he was a hovercraft. In all honesty, probably a pickup truck. Not too fancy or showy, but perfectly functional. His life was devoted to teaching and helping others, so it's the perfect vehicle to do so. He was also a carpenter, so pretty blue collar. A pickup truck would have been a good fit. A Toyota Hilux, because it just won't stay dead. YouTube.com. I have only ever held the title for 2 vehicles in my life 38 years of existence. One was a 93 extended cab pickup, Hilux, just not labeled as such in the States, and a 02 Tacoma, the successor to the Hilux. I still own and drive the 02, bought new, and I am confident that the 93 is still poking around somewhere out there. My older brother was gifted our grandfather's 70s model Hilux that sat under an oak tree for probably longer than we had been alive at the time, tires rotted out from under it, and dirt daubers had claimed the entirety of the engine compartment as their kingdom. Cleaned out the engine bay, carb, flushed it, replaced fluids, gas tank drain and flush, and replaced spark plugs wiring. It cranked in the first round of tries, and I proceeded to clutch dump it into the garage door on accident as a 14 years old. I am definitely biased in favor of Toyota trucks. Edit, I now know the correct spelling of dauber lol. 1983 Toyota Tercel will seemingly die on a Friday, after you've arrived safely home, but will inexplicably start again on Monday, so you can drive to work. Well, there must have been a car Charlemagne, car Joan of Arc, car Henry VIII, car George Washington, car Hitler, etc. There was absolutely a car World War II, as I believe the military Jeep refers to it, meaning there was a car Holocaust, Pearl Harbor, D-Day, and 2 car nukes dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Given the VW minibus's mannerisms as well, it could be reasoned that there was also a car Vietnam War, as well as a car counterculture that arose from it. Were the nukes sentient? Were the nukes sentient? A hippie van. He spent his time traveling and teaching peace and love to people. So the mystery machine? Imagine being in Roman Empire era Judea and Jesus of Nazareth rolls up in the mystery machine. Bonus points if he has a Great Dane. I'm pretty sure every character in that universe is supposed to be immortal, considering they can't build more cars by themselves and the cars in that universe have biocomponents that keep them from breaking down. Hudson Hornet though. And we saw a car literally get killed by the villains in Cars 2. So disturbing. Cars 2 has a surprisingly high body count. Cars 2 producers definitely had to do some favors to get that G rating. A Chevy. They die and are brought back to life all the time. I don't know about drove, but Jesus definitely built my hot rod. It was a love affair, mainly Jesus and my hot rod. Miata is always the answer, probably an NC, since he could walk on water and the NC is the boat. The most normal car imaginable. He'd be a 2008, 4-door Honda Civic with a dark gray paint job. The electric car. It was born, gave people hope, was killed. And now it is rising again. A carriage. But instead of walking on water, car Jesus rode without horses. All I know is he died for our spins. A Chrysler. He would always be pictured as a white car, even though he was actually a brown car. A hovercraft so he can drive on water. Not a Honda Accord. For he never spoke of his own accord. More interesting Q. What miracles would he have performed?